The following is a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
Welcome to the System is Down.
What's up, Downers? Welcome back to the least comfortable show on the web. The System is Down, the place where we talk about all the uncomfortable topics like conspiracies, politics, and religion. If you're new here, then go give your really lovely friend a pat on the back and a kiss on the mouth for inviting you, because this show is going to be a very important one. We're continuing here with the topic that we talked about on the last episode, which is hashtag Operation Backyard Brawl. And we're doing this whole thing not necessarily live. We're recording it like straight through. No like breaks, no edits, no nothing, as long as the internet holds up, which is, I mean, we've been doing everything pretty much out of the norm around here lately, but this is a topic that I think is important. I think it needs to be put out there, not just every single Monday. It should be put out as often as we possibly can to keep you guys informed and updated. The episode that was released earlier today, or yesterday, depending on when this comes out, the episode that was released on June 7th, Thursday, was supposed to come out on Monday. However, we recorded it on Tuesday. Like I said in the intro to that episode, we recorded it on Tuesday. By Thursday, today, it was like, I mean, this thing is like snowballing into absurdity. Like, it has gotten so out of hand. This thing is unfolding before our eyes and we can't keep up with it. So I decided to put it out on Thursday. This one might come out on Monday. It might come out sooner, depending on how this weekend goes. If things get even crazier over the weekend, I'm going to have to drop this whenever I can, and you may or may not have an episode on Monday. We'll just see how things go. So we're playing this by ear. We've got Craig here with me. Craig, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. Not really glad to be back, I wouldn't say, this soon, right? Because I just assumed, like we had said, this thing's going to go away. And yeah. I think because people are, like, more and more people are talking about it now, it's just going. Like,
yeah, it's bizarre. And I got to say, before we get into it, this, again, will not be edited. So any naughty words that we say, this might not be a child-friendly episode. The reason why I typically edit out the cuss words is not because I find cuss words offensive, otherwise I wouldn't say them. The reason why I edit them out is because I like to listen to like controversial things that, you know, expand your thought processes. I like to listen to them around my kids, but I don't necessarily like to listen to things with extensively naughty words around my kids. However, we're talking about freaking pedophilia rings and, child sex trafficking camps. So I think it goes without saying that this one isn't going to be appropriate for your kids. And if you're offended by the F word, then you should probably turn it off right now, because you should definitely be more offended by the topic that we're talking about. Yeah, so let's... let me give a quick plug since we're doing this live-ish. This isn't live, but it is live to us. Go join the Downers Club. We just joined Patreon today. We've switched over from Podbean to Patreon. It's going much smoother. Everything is much cleaner, better quality, everything. We've ramped up. So you can join that for $5 a month. It is our patron program where you help this show keep growing and getting bigger and better, so we can do potentially more episodes a week. We can do more frequent updates on cases like this, and we're even looking into potentially doing live broadcasts in the future, possibly even call-in episodes and things like that. So every dollar that you are contributing in the Downers Club is going towards something that makes this show better, a better experience for you in listening and viewing. So in return, immediately you will get a bunch of bonus audio content. Craig and I do the anti-news, where we do recaps and commentary in very non-politically correct ways about what's going on in the world. We play Would You Rather Wednesday with Remzo Martinez, which is exactly what it sounds like, a terrible, horrifying game of Would You Rather. And we do Raw Potatoes movie and TV reviews. We also do extended interviews with guests that have the time in their schedule to give us extended interviews. So that's that. Go over to tsidpod.com/support and sign up for that now. Or you can just go straight to patreon.com/the system is down. All right, let's get into more hashtag Operation Backyard Brawl talk. Greg, do you feel like I've laid it all out there efficiently?
I think we're good, and you did a very good job of keeping your time down. I think we're only like 2 minutes into this,
Nice.
so you're pretty.
Yeah, I usually record these and re-record these and cut them up, and then they still end up being way too long. So we're not doing too bad. I think having somebody stare at me while I'm doing it helps me keep my nose to the grindstone. I think that's a phrase.
That sounds painful, but I do want to give an anti-plug maybe to Podbean, who you were going through. Literally,
Please anti-plug away.
The only podcast that I have on Podbean is your podcast, just so I can contribute and have the membership going, because
Right. I
hate their platform so much that I listen to everything else on Podcast Nation, I think.
To be completely frank, when I started this podcast, I knew how to do all the audio and video stuff, but I didn't really know the podcast back end stuff.
Sure.
So I contacted Mark Clare of the Lions of Liberty podcast and basically just ripped off everything they did. So they are to blame for us being on Podbean.
Thanks,
and of
Mark.
course, a year into this show, Mark messages me and he's like, dude, I'm getting the hell out of Podbean.
Right.
They're screwing us over. Their stuff sucks. Go over to Patreon. I'm like, dude, why didn't you figure that they're like 7 years into their show or something like that? You could have told me this earlier so I didn't have to redo everything.
The problem I have is like you'll post up on Facebook, hey, new bonus content available, and I'll go and it's not available on Podbean for me, or like your new main episodes won't be available Monday mornings, and then I'll go over to Podcast Nation. I can find your main episodes over there, but they're not on Podbean for a couple hours later, and then finally they pop up. And so I'm like, this is freaking stupid. So I can't find half the episodes every week or so. And so that's why I just kept everything because I started listening to podcasts on the other app. And so when I had to switch, I was going to switch everything over to Podbeam. And so I'd have everything in one spot. But then when I realized how much it was screwed up, I was just like, nope, I'm going to keep this other app for all the rest of the stuff I listen to.
Also, I mean, Podbean isn't a catcher; it's a host. So a lot of people, most of the podcasts that I listen to are on Podbean in one form or another, but a lot of them aren't. So you can't even get everything like you can with a catcher, like the one that you're talking about, or like Apple's podcast.
Right.
So Podbean stuck a big one. Craig, do you want to, while we're on the topic of plugs, do you want to give a plug to the Anti-News?
Podcast Republic, not Podcast Nation. My bad. That's what I use. The Anti-News. Do I want to give a plug? Yeah, it's
half your show. And you do 75% of the work.
Right. Basically, it's a lot of headlines, mostly us just going over like the main trending headlines, or a lot of the ridiculous things in the news. Not even like the main things going on, but we will pull out some of the main stories that catch our interest and pique our interest. But it's more of an kind of an entertaining take on the news, and like you said, it's very politically correct. It makes me uncomfortable hearing some
politically incorrect.
Yes, it makes me squirm hearing some of the things that you say. It's just like, I think I'm politically incorrect, and then you keep going. I'm like, I don't know if you should say that, but it's your show, okay?
Yep.
And so, but yeah, it's basically my favorite news source, because I go back and listen to them after you post them. And half the time I'm like, oh, I forgot we talked about that.
It's basically just like a bunch of hot takes on the news. Like, here's what's happening. Here's what they say. We'll dig deeper if it's something like that credits digging deeper. But we're typically not like all these other news sources where they'll lay out the main story and then like 90 minutes of backstory to it that you already knew. Like, we'll read the headline, which is usually 90% of the story anyway, and then we'll just rip it apart, make jokes about it and stuff like that.
Break it down, yeah. Break it down if it needs to be broke down. Otherwise, just tear it apart if it needs to be tore apart. So,
and usually they need to be tore apart.
If you're not listening to it, if you're not a member, become a member just to listen to the Anti-News, because if you get your news from nowhere else, you should get it from the Anti-News.
It is by far my favorite bonus content that we do, and we're contemplating we're contemplating doing it more often and possibly doing it live. We'll see how that goes. But until then, that's still a ways out. But until then, patreon.com/the system is down. All right, we've got all of our plugs substantially plastered. Get into it.
Do we want a backstory? Do any recap of this initial story?
Do 15 seconds of what we talked about last time in case people are stumbling upon this the first time. But if you are, I would seriously recommend you go listen to episode 59 first, because that's where we laid out the groundwork from what we were uncovering on Tuesday.
So about a week ago now, maybe a week and a half ago, there was a veterans group called Veterans on Patrol. And what they would do is they would fly drones around and look for homeless camps of homeless veterans. And then they would go find them and then offer them different resources and stuff. So it was a kind of a philanthropic group or whatever, just like a very it was, I think their main goal was to prevent suicide among veterans. So they would just offer them different things and stuff. So
yeah, and they were trying to find like you said, homeless camps and stuff like that. Try and get them off the streets too. Help them in any way that they could. Well,
they stumbled across this camp, and we play video. Go back and watch the YouTube video once it posts of this last episode. They find this camp that's got this big buried, I think they said it was a water tank or a fuel tank or something buried underground. Mm-hmm. And there was just a small entrance into it. And they went down, looked down inside. It's a bunch of children's toys down there, pornographic magazines and stuff all over the camp, used condoms, and wrist restraints tied to trees and stuff. So they came to the conclusion really fast that they stumbled across a child trafficking camp down in Tucson is where this is at, Tucson, Arizona, right on, was it Interstate 91? Which
let me see. It's on 101 West Valencia Road. I believe it is right off the interstate. Yeah.
Right off the interstate, which goes straight from Tucson down to Mexico border. And according to initial reports from them, on either side of the road, there is lined with Indian reservations. So it's a pretty direct route from Tucson to the border. And they're saying what this is a sex trafficking route, child trafficking route to Mexico. And it'd be really easy considering there's nothing on either side, no civilization really on either side. It'd be really easy to go unnoticed trafficking up and down this corridor. And so that's where we left off was
the things that are in the camp, aside from just this little kitty dungeon-y looking thing, we have wrist restraints on trees. We've got used condoms. We've got a ton of children's toys. We've got
cribs,
mirror for kids. We've got cribs,
car seats,
one of the creepiest things, car seats, all sorts of very telling items that the police seem to not find anything suspicious about.
Yeah, because they had contacted the police in Tucson, and the police took 3 to 5 days to even bother coming. They kept saying, they'd call back and they'd be like, there was no reports made in this area. And so it's going back and forth with the police. Finally, local reporters showed up, and they're like, well, this maybe it's sex camp or it may just be a homeless camp. We don't know, but we'll let you know if we find out. And it was kind of a mockery local news report. And then the police came out the day that we recorded this. I think the police came out and stated that, there's no evidence that it's sex trafficking. It just looks like a homeless camp. There's no other evidence to prove anything.
Right.
So that being said, that same day, they posted this video of when they got, because we had said Monday they were getting kicked out was their last day. Monday or Tuesday, they posted a video of drone footage of this Cemex company, which is the company that owns the property, a cement company based out of Mexico. And they flew a drone back over there. And the site's been bulldozed since. Did you hear that?
I did. They were really quick to get on that,
Right.
It took them 6 days to even come out and take a look, to my knowledge. But as soon as everybody's out of there, let's squash it.
So we can...
Sounds like what we were saying on the last episode.
Do we want to show this video, a little clip of this video of their drone footage?
Sure, pull it up. we're doing a live-ish video again. So if you're just listening, you'll hear the audio, but you can go over to YouTube. We'll have the video up shortly after this comes out, and you can check out what we're showing here. We'll try to explain it the best we can.
And he explains it while he's flying it too. So,
all right.
The Cemex site in Tucson, Arizona, has been bulldozed.
Need a little more audio.
All right, hang on.
Doesn't even look like they anything out.
It's not letting me give you more audio.
All right. Is it all the way up on the video there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make do. Go ahead.
To the public, this isn't accessible from the road, but there is obvious ways to get in through the back way for these cartels.
If you want to repeat some of the things he's saying, I'm having a hard time hearing him.
He's saying all the access, basically the access into the area is pretty much cut off because they bulldoze the trees down. Like there's a bunch of logs in the way and stuff. Let me see if I can. Hang on just a second.
How thick it gets in here. There's other camps that are in here that they haven't checked.
He's saying it's really thick in there. There's other camps in there.
Right next to the original site.
There's another camp right next to the original site. It's a larger camp. That's probably enough. If you can't really hear it, you're not going to get much more than that. You can just see that you can see the logs and stuff bulldozed in. It's basically cut off access to the site.
Uh-huh.
So let me stop this one. I'll see if I can't get the next video louder so we can hear what's going on. But anyway, there's that video of that. Basically what he's saying is that the site got bulldozed. There's other sites that you can see from their drone footage, like larger sites. You can't access any of them now, but there was direct routes from the one camp over to the other ones. I don't think they ever got into those other ones to explore them, but they can see them from their drone footage and stuff. They did. I don't know.
They say why they couldn't get into them? Because if they could see them, I mean, they've got teams everywhere.
Well, they had to leave that Monday. They got kicked off the property.
So it was seemingly more camps still on the same property.
Yes. Yep. There's several more. And they said they found blueprints. I have yet to really look into that. I saw it right before we got on here. They found blueprints that are a bunch of different like sites all around, and they're trying to like make this like super site pretty much with all the connections of the sites in the area. There was one that they're starting to dig out that was like really large and had like pretty much like a large space that they could like house lots of people, is what this guy was saying. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot more to this according to these earlier, and these were earlier. These were the day that we had recorded our last video or our last episode. So since then, the site's been updated. I'm on. Oh, damn it! Hang on. Let me get see if I can get this pulled back up. Sorry. And of course,
did you watch the live stream of the video where he goes into the police department and talks to the cop?
No, that one disappeared after a while.
Really?
And I wasn't able to access that one. So if you have that by chance.
I watched it as it was happening. I don't know if I have access to it. I can check while I'm talking, but basically it's a really long video because they're doing this whole thing, laying it out live as it happens. They're going into the police department asking why things are taking as long as they are to make anything happen, how these cops are looking into it a little bit and claiming that there is no evidence of anything. And the whole thing, I mean, it's streamed straight through. It's happening as it's happening. And it's just sitting in the waiting room, even talking for about 20 minutes, waiting for this guy to come in and just like laying the whole thing out there. I mean, I've heard some criticisms that we'll get into here in a bit today about these guys. But at the very least, you got to give them credit. Like, they're clearly not hiding anything. They're clearly not being shady because they're live streaming everything as it's happening.
Right. And that's in these videos we're going to get into that were posted today that sparked this new thing where we're like, okay, we got to do this again. We got to post this now.
Right.
That's some of the stuff he's saying. He's like, look, I am showing you. I'm not even. He's like, I'm live streaming everything. So when I see it, you see it. So that way,
right.
all these people that are saying that, oh, we're just planting stuff. He's like, I'm just finding this stuff for the first time. So as I'm seeing it, you're seeing it. So there's nothing shady going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of criticism going on with it. And he's not trying to really make a lot of publicity. He's just trying to get support. Like, all his videos are like, dude,
right.
we got to get more people out here. Please if you have a camper, bring your campers out because we're really hot out here. We need places to like kind of hunker down. And
yeah. And in that video with the cop, before he even goes into the police station, he says, like he's talking to the audience, and he's like, for any of you people who are watching this who are with the mainstream media, he's like, I want you guys to be reporting on this, but I don't trust you for shit. Like, if you want this story, if you want to talk to me, then I've got an agreement for you. If you want to talk to me, you send somebody out here and have them spend a week serving with us. And once they see everything that is the way it is and the way that things are happening, what we're doing, then I will talk to you and you will get your story. Until then, I will not go on these mainstream media things and give you statements because they're just going to be twisted and made to look foolish.
yeah.
And I reached out to them. They have yet to respond. I told them, come on my show. Tell me everything. I won't even edit a single second of the thing if you don't want me to. It'll be exactly, your story how it is. I just want to help you guys get the story out. Some of the criticisms that I've heard, though, are on the podcast or show that we referenced last time, the Quite Frankly podcast. He was talking to a guy today, just a couple hours ago, actually. A reporter that's, I think, kind of local-ish in the area who's been following this thing
Right.
more closely than we have. And he said that, he's been digging into it, and he found out that this main guy that's been doing the talking is actually not a veteran, which raised some red flags. He also said, he pointed out that in the cop video, when he's talking to the cop says something to the effect of, you guys are supposed to be like a neighborhood watch group and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what we agreed to. He said that he found that to be a little bit suspicious and a little bit shady, that they're just a neighborhood watch thing. But
if
I don't
they
care
started out as like looking for a homeless group and stuff like that, that could be
that's neighborhood watch. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just saying cop terminology that they classify different things as. They don't have normal, veteran groups that come in and have this thing. Like,
Right.
they're lumping them under that category. That's just the cop's interpretation.
Well, that
also, I
might-
don't care if you're a veteran. It's a little strange that you're working for Veterans on Patrol if you're not a veteran, but I don't give a shit if you're a veteran or not. I
Right.
don't have the balls to do what you're doing. I
Well,
mean, holy crap! Like, you're dealing with drug cartel and child sex trafficking cartel here, and you're bringing people out under your name and putting this stuff out there under your name. Like, veteran or not, the balls
Right.
in this man.
Yeah, no joke. Right. That's the least of my worries, is if whether or not he's faking being a veteran at this point. Like, that is farthest from my interest right now. Maybe if he was trying to like rally some support as a veteran, that'd be a different story. But he's not even like trying to bring his name or anything really up or anything into this. He's just trying to make people aware. Look, this is going on. We got to do something about this.
Yeah,
And
if somebody is the director for the VFW and they're not a veteran, I don't really give a crap.
right, you're helping
Are you
people.
going to do the job or not?
So, yeah, I think the whole neighborhood watch thing might just be a way to get access to do what they were doing initially, to like be able to go fly drones over the city and find these camps and stuff, because I mean, they could get in trouble for flying over certain places without proper
Especially
authority
if
or
they're-
permits and stuff.
Especially if they're like under such a tight scrutiny for like if anybody's concerned, if anybody has any ties to anything and they're concerned about being found and they're an authority, of course, it's going to be squashed pretty fast.
Right.
They're going to be shut down.
I know like food trucks and stuff like that have to get permits and stuff to operate. And so this might have just been the only way to get permits to do what they were doing initially to be considered a neighborhood watch group. So the fact that they're like, oh, this was agreement that you do this, that doesn't raise red flags to me because they weren't going out there to expose trafficking rings. They were just trying to find homeless people. And that's very neighborhood watchy, in my opinion.
Right. And another thing that I was going to bring up, as far as their validity, they're not accepting money. He has said multiple times on their live streams, we do not send us money. We're not looking for money. We do not want this to be misconstrued as a way for us to make money off of the hype of this. And scrolling through the page right now, I find this post that says, reminder, zip code is 85719, not 85019. Then it has a picture of an envelope, a manila envelope that says, send supplies to VOP Alpha Co. 1830 East Broadway, number 124-336, Tucson, Arizona, 85719. At the bottom, in all caps, written out, it says, money not accepted, with not double underlined.
The one I was seeing says, send water, send this, send supplies, send like first aid kits and stuff like that. It was very clearly, we don't want your money, we just want stuff to keep us going. Gas cards was the only finances that they asked for. Is like, send us gas.
And that's not something that you can like replace for cash if you're just like a hobo trying to get attention or something.
Right. So that brings us to today. We got a post on the forum about this video that they're still going. Basically, what they're doing now is they are patrolling public area now because they, like I said, they got kicked off the private property. So they're patrolling public area between that property and down south, I'm guessing, through the desert. So they found, it seems to be like a route because it's very much marked. They keep finding these black jugs, which seems to be marking a specific route, a trail. And they've stumbled on several sites that look like they potentially could be abandoned camps. And then it brings us to this video where a member of their team, a couple members of their team stumbled across child human remains. And it's a child's skull. So,
yeah, like I said in the intro to today's episode, the straw that broke the camel's back. You kept texting me and saying, "Hey, we need to just put this out. We need to put this out." And I knew that we had to, but I also had a ton of work still to put into it with the editing, with recording the intro and outro and making the video for it. That's a lot of time that I did not have, but I forced it to happen when you sent me the information that they found child remains. And I'm like, "Yep. It's going out now," because that wasn't in that episode, and that needs to be talked about.
Yep. So, my words were, dude, emergency release the last episode. This is moving way too fast to wait till Monday, and we need to keep updating on this because if
by Monday, it'll be a completely different story than it is right now.
And it is right now. It's completely different story now than it was 2 days ago when we were talking about it. Because before it was just like speculative. This looks a lot like a sex trafficking ring in this one area, and that's it. And then there was obviously the conspiracy theories around it. Well, now they're finding these different spots and these different potential camps, and now, as of this afternoon, human remains. So we're in a
tiny human remains, children's skulls. There's some areas where they found like small bones, and they even say on their videos like, we don't know, this could be like you can go ahead and be pulling up the video while I talk. This could be like the small bones. We're not saying that it's not like animal bones, but they found like a child's skull and stuff like that. It's like, you don't just stumble across a child's skull every day.
And it's not like, it's not a dried out, like old remain. Not that it really matters that much, but it's not like something that's been there forever. You can see on it, there's like pieces of flesh, like pink flesh still on it. And he said it still smells like it's decomposing and stuff. And so this is fairly fairly new. If it still has the smell of death on it, that means it hasn't been there that long. Out in this hot desert, it probably doesn't take that long to compose, especially if animals are out there like eating on it and stuff.
It says uncovered a decomposing child's skull and bones.
Yeah, this is
so they found basically a skeleton of this child, and
they said the spinal cord was still attached in parts to the skull, so it wasn't like when a skull or when a skeleton body decomposes and dries out, the skull will just like kind of fall off, but there's still a spinal cord attached, which means it was severed, is what they're saying. Like the head was severed off and is missing, like the teeth are missing out of it and stuff. So the teeth are going to be the last thing to decompose if they ever decompose. That's how they.
The teeth, I assume, were removed so it couldn't be identified, because that's usually the first way you identify somebody who's too out of shape to be identified. Quick comment on this image that they're showing. It's like two images put together. It took me a little bit of time to realize that was two different images. I'm looking at like a human's foot and then a gigantic skull, but then I realized that
it is split. Yeah, you can see it's split. Yeah, I didn't realize that either. That's interesting. That would be monstrous. Wow.
Yeah, they're showing the skull on the right there as the actual thing, and how they're showing the foot and actually compare, and then they're showing a close up.
Yeah, that's the skull. It kind of looks like an egg from the way it's laying. They did roll it over with their foot because they weren't even sure that it was a skull, and as soon as they rolled it over, they're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have touched that. But
did they find these under, like, were these buried, or were they found out in the open?
They found a hole, like a shallow hole, like it was buried, and then an animal dug it up and drug it around because there's bones kind of scattered all over the place. So it's like it was so shallow, an animal dug it up and just kind of picked at it and drug it around. They held a water bottle up to it in a video showing that it was smaller than the water bottle, to show that it is small enough, like smaller than an adult skull. It's definitely a child.
It's like the guy's got his boot up to it. It's the width of a boot and maybe another inch or two. Like, it's pretty freaking small. It's not an adult skull.
So here's I got this queued up to when he came out, because the team found it, so he was driving to meet them. So this is a video of that. Let me get the audio.
Oh, and we only had 3 people armed. We had 13 people. We had 3 people armed. We need bodies. We're not looking for. We do want a security force. Some of our families, some of our families want combat vets to come down and stay at their home and watch over their families because they were on the news exposing this shit and they're getting pressed. Huh? Okay, we're going to take you out to the backside here right now. This is the way we bring the terrorists in.
Smoke a little quieter.
Oh, sorry.
If there's a main trail in and you look to see where the body drops, try to walk in a thick brush. I'm going to flip you guys around. If you guys are calling, no, I'm not answering it. Got to get over here. Kicked it over. All right. Yeah, and then still got some fresh. It still smells real bad too, so you got decomposing. This is still decomposing. This is a small child's skull. This is definitely a child's skull. The rest is almost 200 yards this way. All right, so let's stay on this grass. So an animal probably, looks like an animal might have dug this up too. Yeah. We find a hole, it was buried. It's been dragged around. Now, once again, I'm looking at that skull, guys, and that skull looks smaller than my daughter. My daughter, she's 9, she's big for her age, but that's a small child's skull. That I can smell it. It stinks. It's decomposing. That's a dead body. And now what we're going to try to do is find the other bones. And I'm leaving the 3 of our staff, 3 of our volunteers who discovered this body with the sheriff's department. I'm taking my team over, and I'm going over to those other sons of bitches that's got a camp over here not far from here. And I hope you're watching because you got nowhere to go. We're coming right for you, coming straight in. Yeah, you can share because we got a child's body down now, right along where we're doing our mission, right along where we wanted everybody to pay attention and listen to the evidence and come down and see what we got. Beyond this, man.
There's a lot of dead air, but you know, these videos are getting taken down left and right. So
right, we should.
No reason why we can't just leave it going.
Down here, we need you in your campers and your RV.
You know where they actually find
We
this
got
stuff. You
public
can jump
lands
ahead.
all over this corridor.
I'm going.
We could have every right to camp in. And I'll tell you what, we can set up hundreds of camping spots all along this corridor where everybody can see each other.
I'm going to
Bad guys can't cross through.
get on my phone and screen record all these videos so we can keep like an archive of them.
Yeah.
And then, so if they do get taken down, we can keep putting them back up.
Yeah.
And then we can post links to them.
Now, some of the skepticism to this might be that they seem to know where these things are located, which means somebody found them before they were live streaming, which
Right.
I mean is to be expected because they're not like live streaming 24/7. But yeah, I mean, of course, somebody who's super skeptical could be like, "Oh, that was planted there," and you're like acting like you just found it right now.
Well, what this is here is he's got a bunch of different teams out at this point, a bunch of volunteers and stuff. And so you heard him say the three people that are staying back are the ones that found it. So this team of three stumbled on it, and then they called him. And so he is coming out. And what they're doing is they're doing like some grid reconnaissance, but they're going like grid to grid. They're like taking like a square and as many people as they can. They don't have really enough people to like spread across the whole square of the grid, but they're hitting as much space as they can, finding what they can, and they're mapping out where everything's at. So they're making their own map of this as they go. That's what the grid is. So each square they're like marking on this map, and then they mark if they find like a camp or and even if it's like a potential camp, they'll mark it off. They won't necessarily say this is definitely, but they'll mark it just like as a spot of interest. And what I really appreciate about the video or all their videos as I'm watching them is they'll stumble across something. They'll be like, no, that's nothing. That's just animal bones, or that's just, or if they find like a bedded area in the weeds or something, he's like, no, that's probably where like some animals made a nest or something. And so they're very quick to discredit stuff that doesn't appear to be anything more than it is. So they're not like, oh, they're not pulling like an Alex Jones. It's like, oh, clearly this is where it is being raped. That's why all this grass is matted down and stuff like that. No, they're very quick.
They say evidently when it's evidently. They say obviously when it's obviously, and when it's not obviously, they're not jumping to conclusions. They think they know what they've found. They think they know what this is. They're pretty dang confident that it's that. But whether it could prove their side of the story or not, they're weighing the evidence.
Mm-hmm. And so the big thing, this human remains is kind of the big thing, because the whole time they've been getting flack from the locals and stuff saying, oh, you're just making this more than it is. And it's like, well, hell, now we got human remains here. So they did call, and they're not trying to contradict law enforcement now, because now they call in the sheriff's department now that they found this body. The sheriff's department, because they called 911, they reported, they're like, all right, we're sending somebody out. Well, then like 2 or 3 hours later, nobody showed up. They called back and they're like, no, we don't have, and same thing. We don't have any reports in that area. And finally, so he was getting irate. I was watching some of the other videos. He was just getting pissed that he's like, we're just getting the same freaking runaround here. It's the same thing that happened at the first camp they found. He's like, they're not coming out. And so finally, cops did show up. The one thing I forgot, and he mentions it in this video here, one of his teammates say that Border Patrol came by, and they're like, we got human remains here. And they're just like, okay. And they just kind of shrugged it off. And he's like, what, like, aren't you guys going to do anything? He's like, no, call the sheriff department. And they're like, well, we did. They're not coming. Do you have a better contact info? And they're like, no, you got to get a hold of them yourself.
No, we only deal with alive people. Sorry, this is of no concern to us.
But it's Border Patrol. It's like,
I know.
If anybody knows what's going on up and down that area right there, it's going to be Border Patrol, because that's their job is to know what's going on between the Mexican border and the cities right in that area. So if anybody, like, say there was a cover-up going on, I would think the Border Patrol's got to be involved in that, because if anybody knows what's going on up and down that, it would have to be Border Patrol. If this is like a regular, they're saying this is a corridor, like a marked off route, like a normal route for trafficking and stuff. And originally, before they found these human remains, they're like, well, this is clearly a route. This is something. He's like, even if they're just peddling drugs up and down, he's like, there's something going on here and we need to figure it out. Well, then they obviously come across these remains and they're like, okay, we kind of have confirmation of what we thought. They did find other bones. I was watching videos. They found bones that appeared to be larger than what that skull would have represented as a body. And there was a femur that had a clean cut, like it looked like it got sawed off or something. Like this femur bone was just a flat, clean cut, and they showed that video too. So
watch probably coyotes, probably dogs.
No, just bit it off. So yeah, they're getting the confirmation that they wanted and that people need, but you're still not seeing local coverage of this. You're not seeing it. I'm sure Snopes is still saying it's false.
Oh yeah. They're not going to change their mind no matter what they say, I'm sure. Did you have another video to jump into?
Keep talking. I'll see if there's any other ones.
All right. Well, yeah. While you do that, did you look into the Shivano local school, Delio? Did you see anything about that?
No, this isn't anything to me.
Local school, Shivano, it's Civano. Their logo, if you look it up, has the A in it. It is like a triangle that kind of spirals into its right.
Serious?
Yeah.
Flash this up. Can you flash that up on the screen?
Give me 1 second. You look for your thing. I'll find that again.
All right. Sorry,
guys. There might be some dead air because,
we're doing this as we're going along as we go. This is like all developing now. So as things pop up, we're going to probably flash some of these things up that we haven't even seen yet. So it might be a little choppy, but that's just because of the nature of it right now.
Right. That's life. Let me see what we got here. I haven't used the screen share thing, but we're going to give it a shot. Here we go. Over to this logo. Can you see it?
Hang on just a second. I don't have Zoom pulled up. Okay. Oh, what?
Right?
Where's this at? This is in Tucson?
It says Shivano, Tucson, Arizona over here. Like they posted the Google Maps to it, and it's a community school K through 5. Shivano, CIV, pedophilia, NO. And two, I mean, this is on Twitter that I'm showing you here. If you come down here, this is the key that we talked about on the Pizzagate stuff. The unclassified logos for Boy Lover and Little Boy Lover are this: a triangle that spirals into itself and a kind of sloppy triangle that spirals into itself. And this is it's kind of a mix of the two, we'll say.
Right. Wow. And it's that, I mean, this is on, what site was that on?
I would have to look up to see what the original source was. I'm pretty sure it was posted on the Facebook page, but I'm not sure. Somebody actually posted it. Ben Pangy or Pangy posted it in the System Is Down forum, which you can join by going to the System Is Down forum. No. By going to Facebook and typing in the System Is Down forum. But he posted it in there, and I had seen a picture of it before because I was looking up pictures to use for promotion for the episode, and that came up, and I looked into it a little bit, but I couldn't. I would have to dig a little bit to find the actual initial source. But it's on Twitter. It's retweeted by Tristan Cruz from @badcharacter77.
I want to look into the authenticity of that just to verify it, so it's not just some of this other conspiracy stuff popping up, like
I'll do that.
connections and stuff.
I'll do that right now. I'll Google Maps it and look up that stuff while you play the next video.
I have not seen this video, so it's not queued up or anything, but less than an hour ago, this was posted. It says another trafficking camp located thanks to local ranchers who are helping us fight back. So we're going to watch this together. So if it appears like it's not really going where we want it to, we'll just cut it out. But
sure. You probably won't cut it out. We'll just keep going and say, never mind.
Well, that's what I mean. I'll just stop it if I need to. But we'll see what we got going here.
If you guys, I know I've got a lot of you guys waiting at Bravo, and as soon as we get there, I'm going to have you go out. We did just so you guys know, we did just, thanks to some ranchers, they came upon this piece of property outside of a farm, and you think that, people would be able to see it, but it's kind of disclosed, and said there was a little playground there, some swings and children's stuff, and there was a group of Mexicans that threatened this individual's husband. So we went out to check it out. We just came out in full force. I shot a video. It's on my private wall. This is a human trafficking camp. This is a place where children are being held. And there was a bunch of moundy earth stuff, and there was a bone sticking out of it. Now, we've just notified the sheriff's department, and I'm praying to God it's an animal bone. But we're gonna saturate this whole freaking area because they're on the run. That video I'm getting ready to post. I'm gonna make it public. It's on my private page. I'm gonna make it public and share it over here to this wall. But yes, we did find another camp where children are being trafficked, and the evidence there is clear. It's like plain as day. You can't hide it. There was a bone sticking out of the ground. Michael kicked it over to make sure it wasn't an animal bone. We can't really conclude what it is. You'll see it in the video. We contacted the sheriff's departments, and we gave them the coordinates of this location. When they get here, we got a full video, and we're going to saturate this area in case someone tries to come in with a bulldozer tonight and make evidence disappear. So that's for our team that's going to be there at Bravo tonight. You guys are just...
Oh, they would never do that.
You guys are going to have to keep the ball rolling for us.
They would never bulldoze over evidence.
Why would they bulldoze evidence?
We are so white, guys. But I don't know how much more we got to show you. We'll show you this video, and you'll see where it's at. And I'm going to tell you, we are meeting.
Jump ahead a bit.
Tomorrow. We have people that are coming out with horses, and they're going to come out. I guess we're going to have a VOP horse patrol.
Why don't you jump ahead a bit in the video?
They're fed. And we did just find another camp where...
Until he's done talking.
I think this is just a talking. He's got another video at the camp, he said.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to pull up my screen share, so kill yours. In that amount of time is all it took me to find exactly what I was looking for, which is confirmation that Savano, here's Google Maps, Savano, Tucson, Arizona is a real thing, which I wouldn't have even known that, but Google Maps confirms it. Looked up in images, Savano Community School, here's the logo. You can see it. You scroll down here. It is a school in Tucson.
How have we not seen? How is nobody, like back during the whole Pizzagate thing, how has nobody posted this and been like, dude, somebody should look into this because this is weird?
Yeah, the thing is, if you see this logo, if you see anything like this logo, then maybe
be concerned.
Just send it to me and I'll look into it further if you don't feel like doing the research. But if you're not watching the video, if you're just listening to audio, it is like a triangle that comes around and then it spirals into itself. If you see that logo on any business at all, especially a freaking K through 5th grade public school, send me a link, and I'll look into it. I'll see if there's anything else shady going on around it. Dan at tsidpod.com, or hit me up on Twitter at tsidpod. So that let's go and take a quick break, and we'll get an ad up in here, and then we'll do a little bit more and wrap it up after that.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, Dan Smots here. I'm taking a second to interrupt myself talking to talk about myself because, I don't get paid a penny for the hours and hours that I put into creating this show for you guys in your greedy little ears, and I've got a family to feed. To make that happen, I run my own media business called Goulash Media. If you have a need in anything from video production to graphic design to audio production and beyond, you can get it all for a painfully fair price at Goulash Media. In video, I do weddings, music videos, commercials, pageants, plays, etc., etc., etc. For design, I do photo editing, album art, logos, branding, business cards, merchandise, you name it. For audio, I do engineering, production, editing, jingles, and, well, podcasts. So if you've got a media need of any kind, or if you'd just like to give a little something back and help keep my children fed, check out all the endless options at my website, goulashmedia.net. That's goulash, Goulash, media.net, where we cater to the little guy with the big vision. Okay. And we're back. While we were on the break, my wife got home and she brought me a big low-carb Chipotle burrito bowl, so that's going to be calling my name this whole time, just so you guys know the sacrifice that I'm putting forth for you guys to continue talking about this case. Also have another drink, so we'll see how this goes. But, Craig, what else do you got?
Well, I'm thinking... I'm just going to see what Snopes has to say about this to see if they've changed their stance.
Updated.
Yeah, so...
Children's skulls don't make anything more legitimate, do they?
No, you would think so. So let's see what they have to say. Let's just go with... Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, so I popped up from last time we were on here. So, nope, that's not it. Tucson's.
Because I was listening, as Craig shares his screen with his Google searches, that's really brave of him. I've seen a lot of horrifying things that he's been looking up.
Did you really?
No.
I was gonna say, I don't
Not
think.
Yet. Keep looking.
No. The only thing that should pop up is probably all this stuff right now. All right. So here's Snopes. Did a veteran group discover a disturbing child trafficking bunker in Tucson? Has it changed? Nope. There's
False.
still a big red false.
Do they have anything about children's skulls or anything like that in the information or the evidence? No.
No, it looks like it's still just the original
Looks like
story.
they haven't even updated it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's updated since we recorded our last one. So they're not on their game.
For obvious reasons, I don't use Snopes that often, so I don't really know how it works. Do they post updates? Do they
I don't know.
like new evidence as it comes out? I don't know because
If
I
they
don't
find
trust
out
them.
if it finds out it's false from initial reports, it's just false forever. It's just like, nope, big fat no. Well, what about this? Well, we already said no, so we can't go back on that. So
What did CNN say? Let's go with that.
I give it to them for sticking to their guns.
Yeah, sticking to their guns, as in like not any facts needed.
I don't even know if any national headlines are reporting on this. Oh, no. Let's see. No CNN. The last things I see a day ago still, the New York Daily News. Here, I'll pull this up for you. Bam. So I Googled CNN Tucson sex camp. The very top thing a day ago, New York Daily News says Tucson police dismiss claim of child sex camp fueling conspiracy theory. I'm guessing it says. Let's see. Tucson News, which I'm guessing is still local, says Group 1's federal investigation into abandoned camp in Tucson. That was 5 days ago. 2 days ago, this one we clicked on last time, Channel 12 News said there was no evidence. 30-year-old son finally moves out of his parents' house. That's pretty big, important still on CNN.
Right. The next one down, Supreme Court rules for Colorado baker and same-sex wedding cake. How long will it take before Google is no longer the empire of like searching and online dealings? Because you looked up a very specific thing, and Morgan Freeman's lawyer demands CNN retract harassment article comes up on the first page. Literally, like less than half of the first page is the article that you looked up.
Like I said, I don't think there's really any national coverage of this besides people saying that's not true. Police said no. So CNN hasn't even
Bing. Why don't you Bing this stuff and see if it comes up any differently?
What is
we can at least
Bing?
find out who's the better search engine.
All right, let's check out Bing. Tucson sex camp.
Don't say sex camp like that.
Here's the New York News one, the one that I said. It's at the top still. Arizona Daily Star, it says no evidence.
Screen share.
Oh, sorry. I thought I still had it up. All right. All right, so at the top, this is the top, same as the top of Google, the New York Daily News one from a day ago. 3 days ago, the Arizona Daily Star saying no. Scroll down, brainstain.co.uk. The UK are getting in on this. Child sex trafficking camp uncovered in Tucson, so they're actually talking about it. Here's the Common Sense is the one that we read already. That actually reported on it, but that's more of a like conspiracy theory type show. The only people that are talking about it is us crazy people.
At the least, like you scroll through that whole first page of Bing, every single one relates to this story.
Right. But the other one I typed the other one I typed specifically CNN, so I can try CNN.
Okay, try CNN. Play it fair.
Same thing. Larry Nassar transferred to federal prison. CNN news stories.
I suppose. Yeah. Did Google give you like a full page when you typed in just the Tucson?
Yeah, it was the same stuff.
Okay.
It was all the same.
I guess. I mean, if CNN's not reporting on it, if you throw CNN in the mix, it's gonna screw up the whole thing, and they're just gonna.
Let's check our conservative side of the branch. Fox News says police child advocacy group dismiss claims. Well, at least they're saying something. Let's see what Fox News has to say. This was reported, does it say a date? 1 day ago, police child advocacy group dismissed claims that Arizona homeless encampment is a sex trafficking site. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and Arizona police are pushing back on claims from a veterans group that a homeless encampment uncovered in Tucson, well, they make it very specifically, a homeless encampment uncovered in Tucson last week was the site of a child sex trafficking operation. So they made up their mind in the first paragraph.
Right.
The allegations from Veterans on Patrol, a group that works to assist homeless vets, have been widely circulated on social media since the living space was found.
There was like a rape victim. They didn't believe that this person was raped. Would they be like, not rape victim claims that they were raped? Like just the assumptions in the first paragraph. Like people are looking at this thing thinking that it's a sex trafficking camp. Obviously, well, they're calling this homeless camp a sex trafficking camp. Like they're being very biased, even for Fox.
It says, among the items reportedly found at the site are belts tied to trees, hair dye, a crib, pornographic material, children's toys, and a large water drum with a small opening that has a dresser and 2 crates inside. They're leaving a lot
just a water drum. Not that it's underground with toys and stuff in it.
Yeah. Well, it says a large water drum with small opening that has a dresser and 2 crates inside. It doesn't say anything about toys inside. It just says 2 crates.
Well, I feel like the fact that the water drum was very clearly intentionally buried there, that has a lot of implications on it.
Right.
Like, it's not just a water drum sitting out in a field somewhere.
However, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, in a Facebook post last Monday, or late Monday, denied that the encampment had anything to do with child sex trafficking, linking to a local news interview with police denying the claims.
Can somebody just report on what they're seeing instead of what is being said by the police? Because, yeah, they're super playing it safe. They're not giving any opinion at all. Not that I necessarily care about Fox's opinion, but anybody who looks at this stuff, looks at the videos that we're watching, looks at the videos that we've played, is like, sure, we could put up this episode and say the local police department in the Tucson, Arizona area looked into this case and they dismissed it. That's the problem. That's not the story. The story is that there's a problem, that they're not talking about it.
But breaking news at the bottom of the screen here, it says Washington Capitals beat Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup.
Kill yourself. I had somebody, I posted the episode earlier today, and in that I said, if anybody has any other information, please let me know. I will read it or announce it. I don't remember exactly the wordage, whatever. But Connie Weber, I don't know her personally, but Connie Weber commented on it, and she posted some of the stuff that she's found. I'll just read through this. I just skimmed through it earlier, so some of it probably is recap, but just so you guys know, let me know if you find anything, all the stuff, every little bit helps. She says, someone came and used a bulldozer to cover up the child trafficking camp. Yes, covered that. Evidence completely under mounds of dirt. We kind of touched on that. It was in the videos. CMEX property, yes. Today they found in different locations human skull. Yes, and she even put the date. She's making sure we know. 6/7/18. Taken sheriff 2 hours to location with excuse of couldn't find the place. Wrong directions. Nobody called about it. Sheriff blunt, rude, and attitude. Backpacks and shoes with carpet tied to shoes. Clothes on 6/6/18. Police refused to look into it. And then she says, which, can you verify this? At the bottom she says, dog TPD brought was drug dog, not a cadaver dog, to child trafficking.
You're cutting out
just before it. Okay. Well,
say that one more time.
Keep going, and I'll repeat it so I don't have to edit this. At the bottom, can you verify this? She says the dog was actually a drug dog and not a cadaver dog that was used to search the camp.
I'll look into it.
Which, I mean, honestly, that would make more sense because that's probably what they care more about. Are there people trafficking drugs? That's a problem. People trafficking children? We're going to wait.
Let's see. This one with the New York Daily News, our favorite source, said a cadaver dog was used to check the area with negative results.
It probably wasn't a drug dog or a cadaver dog. They just walked in with a dog and they're like, he doesn't smell anything. Let's get out of here.
Sparky doesn't smell anything. We're good. I'm not seeing that on here, but we'll look into it.
All right. So what did you find about, there was a camp that they were talking about. I don't know if they were actually, was it the one with the swing set? Were they actually able to locate that, or was that just in the
According to that, he had video of them going in there and finding, I don't know if his drone of them going in. That was the one that he was saying they were getting ready to post soon. That's what he was talking about in that last video we watched. That, originally, earlier today, he was talking on a video of how witnesses had tipped them off to a camp with swing sets and a slide or something and a bunch of like kid stuff. And my guess is that must be that local rancher that found the stuff and tipped them off that he was talking about in this last video. And so this last video said, I thought he said they had went in there and taken video, but maybe it was just drone footage. I'm not sure. I'm really hoping that comes out and is released before we get off the air here so we can play that one. Otherwise, we'll have to post it up and recap it later. But yeah.
And I don't remember where I heard it. I think it was in one of the videos he was talking and he breezed by it. I mean, there's so much of this footage that it's hard for us to keep up on it because they're regularly posting like 2-hour long live stream videos. So even if you watch the video, you got to really dig into it and skip ahead and jump around to try and find the parts where they're actually showing things, which I appreciate because I would rather see all of it and have to look to find the good parts, or not good parts, but the more damning parts than have somebody like find one little thing over here and one little thing over there and document just the important things. I would rather see the whole thing through their eyes. I think it's really important that they're doing that, and I think it's awesome. But I was going somewhere with this, and wow, ranting. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. In one of the videos, I'm pretty sure he mentioned like multiple other camps that they've come across, like 4 or 5 other camps that they have found during this search. Have you seen anything on that?
I think I kind of talked earlier that he was mentioning them in videos of how they've stumbled. He was going through a site that he thought could have been a camp. There was like, it looked like debris and stuff covering stuff up. And that was the one he was like, I'm not sure if this is a trafficking camp, but we're just going to mark this on the map. And yet, I'm not sure how many they've stumbled upon at this point, but I think I saw
just through drone footage, or do you know if they have video of that?
No, this was a video of him actually going through this area right here, and there wasn't anything like super damning. They did find like something all like wrapped up in a tarp that they were really concerned about, and he's like, I'm getting ready to open this up. I hope to God there's not like a dead child in here or something, and it just turned out to be a wadded up tarp. He's like, okay, fortunately, thank God this was nothing, but we're just going to mark this as a point of interest here because clearly somebody was here, but we don't know really what was going on.
Right.
And then all along that area was like the black jugs I was talking about that were like seemed to be marking like a path and like a route. So everywhere they've gone, they've focused on these black jugs that just happen to be all over the area, just like kind of marking. There's like
milk jugs or what?
The video is so grainy, it's hard to see what they are because he's shooting it by phone out in the desert where he has very little service. But there seems to be like spillways where they're like, I don't know if you ever really spent any time in the desert, like cities and stuff will like have like washway areas. So if any rain happens to fall, if there's like a sudden downpour in the desert, it just like floods instantly because the ground is just so like not equipped to absorb water. So they like have these like washway areas where it'll just run down and
you're cutting out. Like, you're cutting out.
The cities and silk jugs
are
these
cutting out.
I said they're finding these. Can you hear me?
Back. Go ahead.
They're finding these like jugs, and they seem to think that they're taking these spillways because they're kind of low key where you can't see them up from like roads or anything like that. So if people were like on the move, you wouldn't really see them from a normal like vantage point. And so I haven't really seen specifics on any of the camps, but I think I read that they had stumbled across like 5 different camps earlier this afternoon is what I think I read something like that, but I don't know the details on those camps. I had, you said, I haven't had time to watch all their videos and see everything they've come across or shown as proof or evidence or anything.
Yeah. Well, do you got anything else? That's pretty much it for me.
I got a soapbox maybe to go on.
We can get on soapbox. I've got some good ranting to wrap it up whenever you're done on yours.
My thing is, there's all these like critics and stuff of this, and it's just like, I just want you just put everything, your political affiliation, your beliefs, everything aside for just a few days, and can we just like look into this shit, because this is serious stuff. This isn't like we're trying to bring down the elites and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there are people connecting this.
Let's start with Hillary had nothing to do with it. Can we just look at the evidence and talk about that for a second?
Right. Let's put this all aside. This isn't an Alex Jones conspiracy. The guy who's doing this isn't saying, oh, this is obviously the Illuminati has this sex ring and stuff like that. We're not going
buy my snake oil.
What's that?
He's not saying buy my snake oil either. He's saying don't send me money.
Exactly. It's just, can we put everything aside and can we just look at this evidence and tell me what you think? Well, like, what are you seeing in these videos? Because I know what I'm seeing, and you can't make up an excuse for actual human remains here. Like, there's like serious. Well, I think when we recorded the other day, like 2 days ago, I wasn't even fully convinced 100%. It's like, wow, something fishy is really going on here, and we should really look into this. Oh my God, what the heck?
You're good. Keep going.
How about now? Like when we recorded 2 days ago, I wasn't even 100% convinced that that's what was happening, but it looked fishy. It's just like, well, what else would this be pointing at? But as of today, it's just like, okay, this stuff is for real. Something is going on here. And even bigger to me, something is going on like with people, because citizens, like U.S. citizens, are at this point now where the police aren't doing their job, the government's not doing their job, so they're not rolling over and just letting it go away. Like, citizens are taking over and saying, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
What the heck?
It comes and goes, but
you're cutting out.
Keep going.
Okay. Citizens are taking over and saying, you don't want to do your job, we're going to do it for you. We're going to get some answers here. And I think there's something even bigger than just this one thing, this one event going on. It's like people are coming to a realization, look, if we want something to get done, we want this figured out, we need to do this ourselves, because we are not getting the help that the police are supposed to offer us, the government's supposed to offer us. So we got to do this ourselves. And I think this is starting something big. There's going to be something big here. And whether or not they uncover like this super giant pedo ring, I mean, if they do, fine. If not, they're rallying like people to do things, like to put all of this other shit aside and just do things that matter. And my biggest thing is, if you're in the area or nearby and you have nothing like occupying yourself, like keeping you from it, go help them out. Like, if you want to do something meaningful, hell, I texted my brother-in-law, who is a former Marine, and I'm just like, dude, we need to go to Arizona, like right now. And so I sent him all this information. He's like, what the hell, dude? And I come home tonight and because I hadn't really discussed it much with my wife, and I'm like, I want to go to Arizona now. And she's like, what? And so I told her all this stuff. I'm like, if I didn't have like work in school, I know this is just a bunch of excuses. That's really killing me not to just be like, look, screw all this other stuff. I have a little bit set aside for vacation and stuff. I just want to take all that, go fly down there and give them a week of my time and do it myself. Not that I want to be a hero or anything, but they need the help. And it's just like, it's killing me inside not to just go do it myself. Because
absolutely, the people that are like trying to discredit it, I don't think that the quite frankly guy and the guy that he had on there is trying to discredit it. He's just trying to be an unbiased, like, legitimate source of information. He's making sure he dots all his T's and checks all of his I's. But I mean, the fact that people are so quick to say, because the police said it, nothing. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, the most inspiring thing about this, like, it's so inspiring to see the grassroots movement of like, hey, we think that there are some dirtbags in the area that are trafficking children through your backyard. What are you going to do about it? And the people said,
hell no.
I'm not going to fucking stand for it. Like, whether or not the police believe it, whether or not the FBI believes it, whether or not the Border Patrol believes it, we're not stupid. We're seeing it, and we're not gonna put up with it. Like, it just drives me insane that, like, if I was in that area, I would be enraged. I would be like clamoring at the doors. I want to go down there as well too. Now, while you were talking, you brought up Alex Jones. You're like, we're not just Alex Jones types, and we brought it up last time. I wonder what Alex Jones thinks about this, and it's really interesting that you mention it, because I'm really trying and I'm really assuming that Alex Jones would care a little bit about this, but looking through the InfoWars page here that I have pulled up,
there's nothing.
Not a thing. less than Fox News on InfoWars. The guy who's supposed to be the king of conspiracies, the king of like fringe media, he's talking about CNN commentator talking about frickin' Donald Trump in the NFL. His top story is FEC Dem who targeted Drudge admits agency bias against Republic. Who cares?
Yeah,
Who
this is
cares
all
about your politics? We're talking about kids being trafficked, and we all just accept it as a thing that happens. People are actually getting out there and finding people who are doing it, finding these camps and things. Nobody cares.
Nobody's talking about it.
So Google Tucson, Arizona sex trafficking camp InfoWars. First thing that comes up is NBC News. Alex Jones, you're supposed to be better than this. You're supposed to be... you would be the first person, I would think, to be talking about this long before NBC News, long before CNN or Fox.
Especially as soon as
the new thing.
Especially as soon as the connection to Hillary was made several days ago.
Oh, yeah.
People started saying, oh, this is obviously connected to Hillary. Not the guys that are doing it, but all the conspiracy nuts out there. You'd think he would have jumped on that in a heartbeat, but there's nothing there.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's a couple other things that have his name tied into it in a way or two. Let me open up this one. This is News Wars.
News Wars.
Yeah, a note from InfoWars director Alex Jones. This homeless camp found near Arizona has been investigated by the police. There's nothing going on there. It's a homeless camp with some evidence that may suggest illegal aliens with children have come through the area.
So he's taking the illegal alien side of it. Like the very political stance on illegal aliens is all he's doing here.
I did not expect this at all. Like, this is blowing my mind. He's going like hardcore against it. The guy who said definitively nobody died in Sandy Hook, nobody died in this and that.
Scroll down where it says more.
Everything's a hoax.
Where it says more from Alex Jones. Read that.
More from Alex Jones. Don't take the bait this time, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take the bait this time, ladies and gentlemen. I can just imagine leftist provocateur groups winding up the next drone drone to go in there and self-investigate, which will then blame on the open and free internet. No, ladies and gentlemen, this homeless camp is a distraction and a honeypot involving individuals with a long history of connections to feds who are the initial instigators of the entire thing. What are you talking about? The real pedophilia happens on Caribbean islands, as we know, with Jeffrey Epstein and others. And every couple of months, it seems a shipping container filled with 30 plus dead people, some of them children, is found on the coast.
Where's this reported at?
Freaking, are you kidding me? This is like, yeah, that's obviously a distraction. Look over there. Look over there. Something else that we've talked about 100,000 times. Look at that. That's where the real stuff happens. This is nothing. This has nothing to do with anything that you should be concerned about. Holy crap.
And let me be the first to admit if this comes out as, oh, guys, this was a big hoax by these guys that are playing this up and setting this up, we'll be the first people to come back and be like,
sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
But we're just reporting.
Who does Alex Jones have down there that is looking at the evidence and saying, nope, it's fake?
And I don't know if News Wars is actually an affiliate of InfoWars or not, so I can't confirm that that's actually a quote from Alex Jones. But the fact that
if not, they did a really good job at making it sound like Alex Jones terminology.
Right. With the help of your really good Alex Jones impersonation.
That's what inspired me to start reading it like Alex Jones, was things like, let me pull it back up here. Don't take this bait. Anytime somebody, if you want to sound like Alex Jones, just throw in "ladies and gentlemen" in the middle of a sentence.
Right. And don't take this bait. Or yes. Yeah. So, and he's like, oh, people are doing this. All they're doing is sending in this and doing self-investigation. This is the guy who self-investigated
Bohemian
Grove. Yes. Like, that was the first thing that made him popular, was his self-investigation of Bohemian Grove. So for him to be like, oh, this is just a group taking upon themselves to self-investigate. It's like, dude,
what do you want, man? What do you want?
That's where you started. That's how you got where you are.
this has like Alex Jones like news written all over it. But the only thing that like my mind is blown because when I looked it up, I was like, Alex Jones isn't saying anything about it. Okay, well, shill, but or like whatever. Alex Jones being Alex Jones, just don't talk about the things that don't fit your agenda. This totally fits his agenda, which is bizarre. Not only that, but he is talking about it. He's talking about it and saying that it's fake and you should look away. Everybody look away. Something's going on over here. Nothing to see here.
And the thing is, he's the one that's saying, oh, this is just a big distraction. It's a big distraction. There is no national coverage of this. So how is this a distraction at all? It's just
Alex Jones is covering it up more than the local news or CNN or anybody else. The most anybody else is doing is saying, the police said this, you know,
that's
we're going to talk about something else now. That's it. He's saying these guys are fakes and you know, it's a distraction for what I'm talking about. The real important thing is Stormy Daniels and Trump, our Maverick Trump.
Obviously. Is he back on the Trump train? Because he was off for a while there.
He was off for a night, a really obviously drunken night. I don't know. I haven't listened to him since then. I don't really give a shit because it's Alex Jones and I've lost all respect for the man. I mean, given the politics, and especially given the custody battle that I talked about with Kelly Jones a couple episodes ago, just throwing in a shameless self-promotion on my own show. Go check it out. I have no respect for the man. I don't care what he has to say. I'm only curious to hear what he has to say because I want to see how far off his initial train his initial track he has derailed into like corporate shillery. Like he is more of a shill on this topic than CNN.
Right.
This was set up for you to be like, oh my gosh, Hillary Clinton, Pizzagate, blah, 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 blah. And instead you take the road of, don't look at this.
And he was the one that inspired like self-investigation into the Pizzagate thing. We talked about that on the last episode. And it's almost like he's not wanting to get caught in a shitstorm like he did last time because there's still people like pointing fingers at him for the whole Pizzagate thing and how it spiraled out of control and stuff and trying to cover it up and saying, Alex Jones, people this and that. He doesn't want that anymore. And so he's just completely different direction than like I didn't like him before, but I like he's so much worse now. He's so much corporate, awful. Just big corporate media at this point.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like I've said many times, if you don't speak in definitives, you don't have to backpedal. And I don't speak in definitives. I always say, hey, this looks weird. I don't say this is that. I mean, with this, I'm pretty close to being able to say this is what it looks like. But if you don't speak in definitives, you don't have to go on Kelly what's I don't
the
know.
Fox News chick?
The Fox chick, yeah. You don't have to go on another show and completely backpedal everything, which we've seen Alex Jones do many, many times. If you leave the benefit of the doubt open and just present the evidence and let people decide for themselves, then you're not lying. Like, I'm not saying it is something, and I'm not, if I'm proven wrong, great. Like we said in the Pizzagate episodes, if I find out that everything that I've said is completely wrong and bullshit, you know what? Great. Much better, because I would much rather live in a world where none of this stuff exists, but I'm having a hard time giving the benefit of the doubt anymore.
Right. And all we have done here is basically repeat what's being said on these live videos and these live casts and saying, this is what this looks like. And you can't really too easily fake human remains on a video. I mean,
right.
Unless you're really good at like
some really good makeup effect specialists.
Yeah, get some really good props out there and stuff. So that's my rant for it. It's like I said, if you have the ability, get down there and help out. They're looking for campers, they're looking for four-wheelers, they're looking for anything really. If you can send down cases of water to help out or gas cards, do it. If you can just freaking share the story just to keep it circulating, do it, because like we said before, I don't see the story sticking around long unless people keep pushing it and sharing it and repeating it, because if it is real, it's going to get covered up really fast.
Well,
and
the
it's going to get
freaking
pulled
site was
down.
bulldozed over like the next day, and it seems like there's a lot of the Facebook videos that they've been posting. So they seem to be hard to find after, like, a couple hours after they're posted.
Right.
So I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but something's going on here.
Well, I think that these people deserve credit. This Veterans on Patrol,
Yes.
the people that are actually on ground zero, getting the work done out in the squelching sun, like actually busting their ass to find this stuff. I give them credit, and I give credit to the people that are still reporting on this, like the Quite Frankly podcast and whatever other podcasts or sites that are still actually at least looking into it, because it's really hard to find anybody that's even looking into it anymore. And most people haven't even heard of it. Like, I asked a coworker, hey, did you hear what's going on in Tucson? No. What are you talking about? And
Dude, I've had people in the forum. The forum's full of a bunch of like conspiracy nutbags and weirdos. I posted the episode and somebody was like, well, holy shit. Like, nobody has heard about this stuff. And my final rant is, give these people a little bit of credit. Like, holy crap. I would not be doing what they're doing if I lived there. Like, I mean, I might join them if I was there. Even now, I could see going down and joining them. That's not spearheading this thing. They came across something that was suspicious. They've had the world against them. They've had the FBI, the local police, the Border Patrol, the news. Freaking Alex Jones says that they're nut jobs, and they're like, no, this is what this is, and we are not backing down. We are sticking to our guns, metaphorically and not. We're going to stick this out. We're not even just going to stick it out on this site. We're going to expand. We're not done here. We're going to keep going. And the balls on these guys. Like, I don't care if you're a veteran. I don't care what you are. You could be a freaking ballet dancer. The balls on these guys. It's
Right.
amazing.
And
Like, the stuff that they're doing, and they're rallying everybody in the area behind them, which just shows that the power of the people is more important than the power of the government, the power of the local authorities, the power of anything. The power of the people. They're saying, no, screw you. We're going to figure out what's going on here because you're not doing it, and we're going to do it and show the world on live stream. Fuck it.
And I think that point is a big reason, a big concern of why national coverage wouldn't cover this. Because if you can see, if all of the public can see that we are powerful and we can get shit done without them. If they're not going to do it, we can do it ourselves. They don't want you to know that. The government doesn't want you to know that, hey, if we can actually put our shit difference aside, come together on one purpose, we can get something done. And look at what's been uncovered in just, according to videos, uncovered in just like 3 days. Just because people came together and worked together, I guarantee you all the people out there aren't just diehard Republican, gun-toting Republicans. Right. I guarantee you there's people with different beliefs out there.
You don't have to love guns to not want people to be molesting children.
Well, and these guys even said, look, we don't want you coming down with your guns. We don't want a militia down here. He's like, we got enough armed people to back up the other people here. We just want bodies is all we need. We don't need more people coming down. Alive bodies. Yeah, exactly. We don't need people coming down here to spark things up and carry guns around. We just need people to help us out and set up camps. They're talking at setting up like kind of base camps around the area to keep these patrols going, where they can come back and break or camp for the night and stuff. And so it's not a, hey, let's build up a militia against this thing. It's a, we just need help. We need anyone. You come and help us. That's all we need. We don't want a force. We don't want an army. We just want a search team is basically what they're looking for.
Yeah. And again, not looking for popularity. They're not taking interviews with mainstream sources unless they're willing to help. They're not taking any money. They're not taking anything other than supplies and quote unquote boots on the ground. Let me see here. I'm refreshing their page to see if there's anything that's come up since we've been talking.
I looked, I didn't see anything.
Last one was 2 hours ago. I don't see anything new. But yeah, I think that about covers it for today. I'm not sure when this will be posted. If something ridiculous happens over the next couple of days, this will go out before Monday, and we'll end up probably doing another one before Monday to come out on Monday.
Do you know what this thing is doing to you? This is single-handedly turning your show into a daily podcast.
That's fine. And like I said in the last episode, I've got a really busy schedule for this weekend. I'm going to be filming a wedding in Des Moines, which is like 3 hours away. I got to leave tomorrow to shoot it on Saturday. What would be great? If I didn't have to. And if you guys would join the Downers Club, enough of you joined the Downers Club, then I wouldn't have to. If enough of you joined that I didn't have to go out and shoot weddings, then I would be totally happy to give you the daily update on all this stuff and make sure you know everything that's going on to the best of my knowledge. So, tsidpod.com/support or patreon.com/the system is down.
That was a shameful plug.
It's my show.
If something comes up and you're in Des Moines, I'm getting you on your phone the way you normally get me on my phone, and we're going to do this anyway.
We'll figure it out. I have a bunch of recording devices on me. I'll find a way.
Okay.
Because of you guys, my Chipotle is cold. I will, while I'm out of town, I will make it happen. If something comes up that is so noteworthy that, like with the one today, I had to put the episode out early because something so noteworthy came up that I couldn't help it. It has to be put out. We have to talk about the next thing. If something else like that comes up, if we find a body, if we find a child, if we find something crazy, if there's a giant Waco standoff, absolutely, you can bet your ass that I'll be reporting on it, and Craig will be here too, and we'll be giving you the latest update. But Craig, thanks so much for being here. It's been, I would say, fun.
This is really a fun one.
No. Craig, it's been life.
It's just been.
It has been. But thank you guys so much for listening. I'll go ahead and do the sign off live too. Thank you guys for listening, and go join the Downers Club, tsidpod.com/support or patreon.com/the system is down. You get a bunch of bonus audio content, and it's way more quote unquote fun than this. Craig and I do a bunch of ridiculous rants about the news. We do commentary. We do really offensive commentary about headlines that are going on in the news. We do game shows and extended interviews and all sorts of other things, movie reviews, TV reviews, stuff like that. So please, that's what helps keep us doing this. If you sign up for that, you'll get way more of this, I promise. Patreon.com/the system is down. Just go, sign up for all the things. Go like, share, subscribe, all the stuff on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and everything else.
Keep up on the forum, because as things are unfolding, I'll be posting that stuff, like some of the videos and stuff, and we'll get you some of the links to the stuff that we talked about tonight too.
Absolutely. Go join the System is Down forum. It's absolutely free. It's on Facebook currently until they kick us off for doing this stuff, which is probably impending and inevitable. But it's currently on Facebook. You can just look up the System is Down forum and ask to join that, and I'll let you in. Or you can go to tsidpod.com/forum. It'll be there. Even if you're listening to this in the future and we have to move off of Facebook, you can find it. We'll relink it in tsidpod.com/forum. And all the links to all the links to all this stuff will be in the show description and show notes. So if you don't understand what I'm saying because I've had a couple drinks tonight, then you can find it there. And go out and talk to somebody this week. Go out and have a conversation about the stuff. Tell somebody about the show, but more importantly, tell somebody about frickin' hashtag Operation Backyard Brawl, because nobody knows about it. You didn't know about it until earlier today when I posted this stuff. Nobody knows about this thing. Nobody, not even Alex Jones, is talking about this stuff. And it needs to be talked about. It needs to be out there. It needs to be in the stratosphere of conversation, because it is way more important than what you had for lunch that you're posting on Instagram. So please share it and look into it. Go to follow Quite Frankly Podcast at quitefranklypodcast.com. Follow this. We're going to do our best that we possibly can to keep you updated and informed. Craig, you got any final thoughts?
I think we covered it.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you guys for listening and supporting and keeping the show going. You know, if you'll have me, I'll be back in here in your ears first thing next Monday with some more uncomfortable conversation for you. Until then, you want to say it together?
Sure. Question.
Everything
stay uncomfortable.
Stay uncomfortable. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Maybe counted that off or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. This is our first time. Let's try it again. Question. Everything is stay uncomfortable. If you listen to the Lions of Liberty podcast, they do their sign off way better. They've got it down. We'll figure it out. But until then, question everything and stay uncomfortable. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye. This has been a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.